Pleasure to have you here at Liverpool Comic-Con, Ross. I'm sure a lot of the Marvel fans have been nerding out about that Red Skull experience. Just tell me about what that initial casting was like, because you're going to have to keep your lips absolutely sealed. You can't do a Tom Holland and reveal the whole story.
It was kind of crazy because they reached out about a month before I got cast, and they asked if I did a Hugo Weaving impression, and Hugo's the master of accents, so I said, are we talking like his native Australian tongue? Are we talking like German, English, what are we American in the Matrix, of course? And they said, well, we're thinking like kind of like a German Hugo Weaving. I'm like, so are we talking about Red Skull? And they're like, well, we can't really say it. I'm like, I'm assuming, yeah. So they sent me a voice sample, and of course it was from First Avenger, Captain America, and I just listened to it a few times, studied it for a couple of days, and then I sent it in. Didn't hear anything for like a month, and then we had just finished filming Walking Dead season 7, I think. I'd flown from Atlanta to LA, was driving back in my my Uber, and I got a call from my manager, and she said, "Hey, you booked that Marvel thing," and I was like, "Oh." What was this again? Because we didn't know what it was for. They didn't even tell us it was Avengers or anything.
Oh, wow.
It was a secret title. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I was like,
a code name.
Yeah, it was a code. Yeah. And I was like, what? So what is it? And they're like, well, they need you in Atlanta tomorrow. You're in Atlanta still, right? And I was like, no, I just landed in LA. And I'm like, oh, you got to get in the next flight back. So I literally drove right back to the airport, booked the next flight back out. So I flew another 5 hours back to LA, or Atlanta rather, and then was up at like 6 a.m. the next morning and on set, and it was just a trip. It was so much fun.
I can imagine with the way how Marvel works that you didn't know what was going to happen after your scenes. Obviously, your scenes preceded two of the biggest deaths in the MCU. Did you see them on screen for the first time? You didn't know what was going to happen?
No, I knew what was happening in those scenes.
Okay.
I didn't actually get a chance to work with Josh or Zoe or Scarlett and Jeremy, because they had filmed their portion. Like half of Hollywood is in those movies, right?
Yeah.
So they filmed their portion, I want to say like 5 or 6 months earlier, and I was like one of the last days of primary shooting, and it was tickled pink when I got a chance to see it, because it was like you said, the two of the most interesting moments in those movies, and very heartbreaking. Yeah. So yeah. And
obviously, with the way how the multiverse is working in the MCU now, could we see you return as Red Skull?
I hope so. Well, I got to play a little bit part as Ultron in Doctor Strange, which was fun.
And What If as well.
And What If, yeah. So I love playing both Ultron and Red Skull are two of my favorite villains growing up as a kid. I used to draw Red Skull all the time, and it was a weird thing from like drawing these comic books and then getting a chance to play one of my favorite characters, So I love playing both of them. I hope I get a chance to do more, but that's really kind of out of my hands, of course. So yeah,
100%.
But fingers crossed. Yeah.